just as we have many different types of food, the same way we have different categories of businesses, that are food related and one can embark upon. We have the meal preparation business, there's the food processing, storage, manufacturing, packaging, transportation, distribution, delivery, and so on. So you will find people in, the food business anywhere. They are traveling on the road, they are on the streets, in the farm, at home, at parties, at restaurants, in their bar, anywhere, doing their business and making money. In the food business, there are plenty of unique niches and business models that can help one to make profit. So if you are looking for a food business idea to start, then you are in the right place. I'm about to talk about some profitable food business that you could consider. This is Retirees Nigeria, and I'm Dr. Dorothy Esse. If this is your first time here, kindly subscribe and then like this video if you find the content interesting. Thank you for watching. I will start with one very basic and common food business which people don't seem to give much thought to, and the reason is because it looks very common. And something that is common is usually not well valued. This lucrative business I want to talk about is the mobile food business. This business requires you moving from place to place. The business requires you to convey your food to the location where you wish to sell using either carts, trucks, or buses or minivans, and you serve your customers from the vehicle because you have no shop, and all you probably have is a spot or station where you put your vehicle from which you sell to your customers. And in most cases, you are not even allowed to build a structure in that busy place that you have found. So what you do is park your vehicle there and then sell your meals. And then when you are done, you move on. Some people who have no specific selling spot, they do target where there's high human traffic. That is where there are heavy activities of people. So in other words, they do not stay in one particular place when they are selling their food. They move from place to place, targeting festivals, the busy beaches, where there are cultural events and such activities that attract high number of people. And people will surely get hungry, or at least feel tasty, so they will surely patronize you. But when you are doing this business, ensure that you are well positioned, because where you are must be a place where people can see you and recognize you for what you sell. So take your food there during usually brunch, because when people are going out in the morning, most times they take breakfast from home. So the best time to do such selling is lunchtime. Though there are people who also make sales in the morning, because there are some people, because they are very busy, they are in a hurry to leave the home, they do not have the time to eat breakfast, but the number is few. Midday usually the best time when people patronize such places. So there are people who are even doing this business, even after making money, they still continue to do the mobile business because there's money in it. So if you prefer to be stationed in one place, because there are some people who don't like to move from one place to the other, if what you prefer is to be stationed in one place, then you can look for a good location where there's a high human traffic, and then you build a kiosk, you position a kiosk in that busy place, or operate what we popularly call a booker. Or you could go all out if your finances will allow it, to open a full-fledged restaurant where people will have place to sit comfortably with air conditioner and everything that will make your customers to be comfortable. Or you could decide to open a fast food business, or a combination of both. But whichever model that you choose will be dictated by your finances, because I know that the food cart business is usually very cheap. You can start very small and grow from there. The second business I'll talk about is the catering business. This business actually involves the provision of food and services for special events. You know, the special events usually involve feeding a large number of people, and catering is often done for like business events or social events, which would include wedding ceremonies, end of year parties, birthday parties. And for this kind of business, most times you do not need to have, you know, a place where you display what you sell. Most people who are in this business actually they operate from home. They just put the word out there that they are caterers and they are contacted. But if you can afford it, you can open a shop, a catering shop, where people will be able to meet with you. Otherwise, they could give you a call when they need your service, and you meet with them in their place of business or the venue where the ceremony will take place. And most times the cooking takes place either in your place, which you have chosen, which could be your home, and then when you are done with the cooking, you deliver to your client. Or they could choose that you come to make the cooking, you know, in their home or where the event will take place. So if you are good at cooking and you have the serving equipment, because when you cook, actually you are supposed to package the food with your own equipment, like your big pots, your serving spoons, and sometimes you will want to use your plates and things like that. So if you have those things and you know you are good at cooking, then this business could be for you. And the third one will be the food training school. You could open a school for training people on how to cook, so they acquire the skill, and then with enough practical experience, of course, from your training. And don't forget to locate your training school in a place that will attract, that's likely to attract students. And this could be areas where people who can afford to pay for your services they reside. And if you ask me, I will recommend harbor areas where you find parents who want their children to acquire cooking skills, will send their children to you. And also those of them, provide the children are in between schools, like during holidays, they want to keep them occupied. Or even after they've done their exams, they don't want them just sitting at home bored. They'll send them to you to learn some, acquire some cooking skills. So this category of people and those people who want to set up their own food business are your most likely customers. Another business you can go into is to work as a nutrition coach, where you could become the personal coach to people who need to eat healthy. So you give them advice. And this business can actually be combined with that of a food instructor. So if you have a cooking school, you can also work as a nutrition coach, where you teach people how to eat healthy meals. Okay, then another business you could go into is the catering equipment rental. Here you rent cooking and serving equipment to catering businesses or even hosts. So people who run catering businesses where they cook for people, they come to you to hire these equipments. And you could also hire it out to people who are holding parties. There are people who are holding parties, they don't have enough plates, they don't have enough cooking utensils, like those heavy big duty pots that people used to cook. It's not what you should be keeping in your house, so in your home. So what people do when the time comes, they want to cook, they go and rent from catering equipment rental service. Then another one you can also go into is the farm produce sale or farm produce delivery business, which involves the buying of fresh farm produce and then supplying them in bulk to households. There are people who go from the southern part of Nigeria to the north to buy things like tomato, yams, vegetables, and ship them to the south for sale. And those are fresh from the farm. you could go into that business. They sell to restaurants, they sell to individuals, they sell to superstores and all that. So you are more like a middleman, shipping from the farmers down to the consumers. And there are so many areas you can go into. There are people whose main business is to sell crayfish, and there are some who focus on plantain, others focus on yam, tomato. So you could do a combination of any of these. And if you are a techie person, actually, you could introduce technology into this for your customers. They order from you, pay in advance. So you are actually going to the market to buy the items with their money, because they will order in advance. And then when you are in town, you come and pick up whatever they've ordered for. Yes. And we also have, aside this one, we also have the food packaging business, which you can go into by buying food items in bulk, and then you repackage these items, package them in smaller packs. And you could do things like repackaging of rice, repackaging of beans, repackaging of gari, yam flour, plantain flour. Put them in smaller packs and supply to supermarkets. And also there's the food storage business, where you store food when they are in season. For example, if palm oil is in season, it's usually very cheap. At that time, you store them and you wait for a time when it becomes expensive, and then you release yours into the market. It's not only palm oil, there are other food items which you can store when they are cheap, and when they become expensive, you push them into the market. And this business is very good, because there are people who make between 50 and 100% profits in this kind of business, buying, storing, and then selling. You usually don't do much work. The time that you work is when you are buying, and then when you want to sell. So you just chill and then wait for the time when it becomes expensive, and you push your food items into the market. Then you can also look at the grain processing business. And these grains, we are talking about cereal and pulse processing. And these are like things like foodstuff like maize, wheat, rice, corn, guinea corn, millets, beans, and so on. These forms of food, they form a large and important part of the food production chain. And with new technology that is now within the reach of small businesses, because now we have small equipment that you can use to process these things. Unlike before, when it is only those big companies that are able to go into food processing. Now there are small machines that you can use to process grains, and these small machines, they are capable of doing things like descaling of corn, descaling of beans, removing the skin and the black eye. They are capable of grinding these items into flour for packaging. You also have the ones that handle small machines that remove the shaft, the shaft that rice comes with when you harvest them. There are machines that remove the shaft. Now there are small machines these days, so you don't need to go big before you can go into this business. So you could choose to start with the processing and packaging of this grain on a small scale, and you grow your business from there. We also have the ones for cassava now, small scale, which you can do. There are cassava grinding machine. You grind, you make your tapioca, you make your gari, and you can even make your starch. So there are people who are not into any form of food processing. All they do is buy already processed products in bulk from factories or from the villages, and then they repackage. I'm sure you must have seen small packages of rice, beans, gari, groundnuts in superstores. Sometimes some of these things are not actually produced by the person who is packaging them. He buys them in bulk, like in bags. If he has a place where he buys them cheap, he buys them and repackage into smaller packs and pushes them to supermarkets. So that could just be someone's business, buying and repackaging. But one thing you must make sure of is, when going into any form of food business, you have to remember that this is something that people put in their mouth and swallow. So hygiene, is very important. It cannot be overemphasized. And when I'm talking about hygiene, I'm talking about hygiene for your staff, the hygiene, cleanliness of the equipment that you use, and then also the cleanliness of your environment. Because even sometimes when your clients see where you produce what they eat, they will really be discouraged. Many of them will not want to come back. So from there, you can decide on the one that you think that will be profitable for you. And the area that you wish to go into should be one that you actually have interest in. So it is wise not to just go into any business because you see your neighbor making money from it. Is this something that you will enjoy doing? You need to enjoy doing it, because business is a lot of work. So if you have a passion for a kind of business, even though it's a lot of work, you will see that that work will be fun to do, and you won't know, how much energy you are putting into it because you enjoy it. So whichever food business that you do decide to go into, ensure that you do some research on it, gather enough information on that kind of business. Some people have had to become apprentices for a short while, just so that they can gain the required skill or knowledge, on the essentials of their choice of business that they've decided to go into. So if you decide to go into any business that will consume electricity, for example, if you do not know, you will discover that all your profit goes into buying of fuel and maintaining generator. But if you go to somebody who already has the knowledge of this business, he will tell you the truth. Because there are some people who eventually come to complain that they are just in the business, they didn't know, what the business entailed, that it was going to consume so much power, and now they are into it and they spend so much money. They don't want to come out because they spend so much money, to set up that business. And then you may, from the outside, be looking at them and thinking that they are making money. That is why I say you should do enough research. Find out the ones that are profitable and how much profit are they actually making, whether it is something that is acceptable to you. Yes, because many businesses have gone under as a result of lack of research. So ensure that you make, the kind of profit that business will bring is the type, that you do not you will accept as the type of money that you want to make. Okay, so let me give a rundown of the types of food business that we can go into, which are profitable. And the list is not exhausted, but here are some of them that are proven, to be profitable. But the truth is that they say there's no business that is not profitable. That any business that you can think of, you will see one person who is doing it and making profit from it. So in other words, it has to the possibility of your making profit from any kind of business is dependent on how you handle that business, the quality of your service, how you go about letting people know that you are there. Because if you are doing a good business, providing good service, but nobody knows that you are there, it's like somebody who is blinking in darkness. Nobody is even seeing your eyes. So here are some of the businesses that you can go into that are profitable. We have the honey production business. People are making money from it. Then there's the rabbit keeping, which you could combine with rabbit training. That's training people on how to rear rabbits. There's the dried herb and seasoning business. And then there's the food storage business. You can also go into frozen food after you have done your research, of course. And then there's the food packaging business. There's the food supply, logistics, food delivery business. You have your catering school. And there is the animal rearing, like pig rearing, goat rearing, and all other forms of animals that people eat around here. Then we have the butcher service. Then there's the raw food supply, the drink distribution business, the fresh drink production, baking. You have the restaurant business. You have the cook on demand, where people order for food from you and you cook based on their demand and their specification, and you can actually combine, you know, a number of these business into one, since they are all a food business. Okay, so this is it for this video. I wish you good luck in any business that you do decide to embark upon. I hope you succeed and make your money, so that your money and effort will not go to waste. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope to see you in my next video, and please remember to subscribe and like this video if you find it interesting. Thank you very much for watching.